Welcome to the city, Mastermind City, a city filled with endless masterminds and limitless possibilities. Learn the secrets that bring business and personal success through our unique one-stop destination that gives you year-round live access to every mastermind running in the city.
And it includes live coaching, Q&As, hot seats, and more.
Hi, I'm Faye Chappell.
And I'm Stacey Maynard, and this is the Hot Topics of the Week, where we bring you a vibrant, uplifting, and inspiring conversation focused on how you can make a lasting impact for yourself and for your business.
Because the truth is, life is a marathon, not a sprint, and that's why our listeners keep coming back. For us, this is more than just a business. It's a professional community. So if you're ready to go, you're in the right place. Welcome to the city.
Technology is great when it works.
Yes.
Technology is great, is not great when it doesn't work.
Technology is just great. Let's just say that.
It's definitely made it easier. Obviously, we're very engrossed in everything in the world, right? Like, the internet goes down and stores can't sell anything, or, we can't get on. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, is the internet and it's the end of the world?
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's just everything circles around it. I mean, just think about it. If you own a store or a restaurant and your internet goes down,
yeah,
what do? You can't process the chips. You can't, if you're in a restaurant and you're the waitress, you put in your order, it goes on the internet, it goes to the printer in the kitchen where the chef cooks it, and then the bill at the end. So if you have no internet, yes, can you do offline a little bit, but, old school, but you can't do everything. You can't use all your cards and debits and stuff. And remember, I'm going to date myself. Remember the old days when you used to put your card in this machine and you went, and all the youngsters are looking at me going, what the hell is she talking about?
Well, we had to use them. I worked retail, so that was the only way that we were able to process. Like, I'm actually thinking back to the amount of time, right? Like, if I think back to the person handing me the credit card, I had to do the machine. I had to hand write what it was, the price, calculate the tax, all of that. So just think of the time it took. But then it also went to a human being at the end of the day or the next day that actually had to physically
get authorization,
process all of that.
Wow, that was so funny when you think about it, right? And now I get upset when I can't tap. Like, what do you mean I have to insert my card? I don't remember my PIN. I only know the tap. I only have my Apple Wallet. That's all I carry. I don't even carry a bag anymore.
I'm getting to the point where I'm actually not carrying a wallet. Like, I have my driver's license because obviously I'm driving around, and that I'll be very happy when my driver's license is on my phone. I'm all about the digital cards. But I remember going to a store and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't need it. And if they didn't have tap, I remember my son actually telling me that a convenience store, their internet went down. And they had no way of processing cash, because what teenager is going to process cash? So the customers that the store trusted, they were like, here, take whatever you're buying and come back with cash later if you can get cash.
Yeah. And you just, it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know what I do with my Apple Wallet. Because even you find hacks around, like if your bank says, you are only allowed to do $2.50 on your tap, right? So, and if you're in the grocery store, who spends less than $2.50? Can you buy anything in Canadian grocery store for under $250? I don't think so.
No,
but anyway, but then the cashier will go, "Oh, do you want me to just split it? We'll do it twice." And then it'll go through, and I'm like, of course. And then I don't have to find that card that I don't know the PIN to.
Well, it's gotten to the point that if you do spend a lot of money, I just automatically tap now. And then they go, well, actually that it's too much to tap. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a problem.
Well, it's funny because really what is too much anymore, right?
So now that compares to back in the day where we took the credit card, the physical card, that kind of stuff, and how crazy today is, in comparison to that. And okay, I'm old, but it wasn't that long ago that I worked in retail, right? So
Yep.
now fast forward, like, can you imagine what's going to come out? Because technology is just changing at a rapid pace right now.
Right.
So can you imagine sort of 20 years in the future how they'll be laughing at the fact that we had to tap? Like, I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going to come.
It'll be like, you just have to look at it and it'll somehow, we have a chip in our brain that says, oh, there, take out that money.
Yeah,
Because I can't
exactly.
imagine literally what's going to happen next week, let alone in 20 years from now. I'm very sad that I won't be here in 100 years from now because
Right?
I'd really love to be part of that group where it's just totally everything's changed. But that's the interesting part about how things are moving. And we really wanted to talk about AI today. Again, I know everyone's going, oh no, they're talking about AI because it literally, you have to talk about it on a weekly, sometimes daily basis to understand what's updating, what's upgrading. And it is worth your time and investment to spend a few minutes every day, every week, every month, whatever it is, but to learn what's happening because there are so many new functions that are coming out on a daily basis. And every time, and I'm on AI, I'm on ChatGPT and Gemini and the rest of them every day. And every day I go in and I'm like, I cannot believe it can do this now.
Yeah.
So it's shocking. So I'm obviously a plus member on all of them. So ChatGPT 4.0, which you can get now for free. You can still upgrade because upgrade gives you more flexibility, more options, and obviously gives you much more bandwidth in it. Gemini Advanced, I'm now a member of Gemini Advanced, and the cool things that are coming out are just, it's insane the volume of time that you will save. So today, I didn't even tell you this, but you're going to find out soon. So, and if one of our students from our mastermind is watching, they'll find out. So today, one of our students, or yesterday, sent us an email, right?
Yeah.
We're on her list. Very complicated information. Let's put it that way. So it was a very long email and it was challenging to understand it all. So I literally took the email and I threw it into Gemini. No, I threw it into ChatGPT and I said, basically told it to change it into grade 8 reading level, make it compelling, do key points. And it changed it. And I was like, wow, that's a great, like that was completely different. So she wrote the first one.
Yeah.
Right. And all I did was ask ChatGPT to clean it up, condense it, and make it more accessible to the average person. And it did a really great job. So for people that are even thinking about, oh, I'll never use it, sure you will. Because you'll
Absolutely.
even change it to something as simple as rewrite my email to make it more accessible. So
Yeah.
there were so many things this week that I was playing with. The other one we were just chatting about earlier, whereas if you're a premium member, you go into Google Docs and Microsoft, you go into their Word, AI is now integrated. So if you're in an Excel spreadsheet, you can literally ask the AI wizard, whoever you're using, to say, okay, create a spreadsheet table with 8 columns. I need it to do this and this, and this is what I need it. And then it will not only, so here's the cool thing. I did it in Gemini. It will tell you what to write, right? So it'll tell you, okay, in column A3, put in this formula and then drag the cells. It'll do all that. But, okay, I didn't even tell you this. You can say, open in Google Sheets. and
Okay,
it'll
that's cool.
and you click the link and it opens. Now it's not perfect yet, but it's pretty damn accurate in what I asked it to do. So how many people out there who've used Excel? I'm going to say Excel for the young ones. You're using sheets, or you might be using numbers in Mac. But how many of you hate going there because you don't know how to do formulas?
Well, or you hate doing it because you're not really sure how to set it up.
Right.
That's the big thing. I think once it's set up, Excel sheets, whatever, it makes it very easy to use,
Yeah.
but it's the setup. So the fact that you can say, can you just do this? This is what I
Yeah.
need and go do it
And it
is
gives you
amazing.
things like, I suggest that you do the borders in bold, change the colors here, do this. Like it tells you everything, and
That's
it was
awesome.
like so cool. And I mean, I'm just playing with Gemini now because it's much more advanced than it was. And I love when I said to Gemini, I said, "What's the difference between you and ChatGPT?" And Gemini said, "Well, think of Gemini as the older, wiser sibling." So now I don't have a preference, guys. I like both. Here's the fun part. If you're playing, you can get both free versions.
Yep.
So if you're playing, play with both. Ask the exact same question in the same way on both.
Right.
And then see which one you like the answer to, because a lot of our students always ask the same question: which one should I go to? Which one, if I'm going to invest in a premium version, which premium version, right? So it really is about personal taste. I like them both. They're both fantastic. And there's obviously the other ones that I use occasionally, but these are basically the motherships, right? So those are the ones you kind of default to. But the key in all of this is I can't even stress enough. You need to keep on top of learning because you don't want to miss an opportunity of saving hours and days of time in anything you do. And so, like I noticed that my kid has access to mine, and I look at all the questions that he asks, right? And they're basic ones. There's like cooking questions and storage questions and stuff. And instead of just having to, scroll through Google and find the answers, now it's like, hey, ChatGPT will do all the homework for me.
Well, and we have a workshop tomorrow on AI, and we were having a conversation earlier, no, I guess last week, and we were talking about like when you were going to update it because in this world we can't just use the presentation we did a month ago because it's outdated.
Yep.
So you were saying, well, I have to wait literally till the day before.
Yeah.
To actually put in the latest information because if you had done it yesterday, there might be something today.
And there is so here's what I recommend to everyone. There is basic understanding of AI and chat scenarios. There you need to have a basic understanding. So anywhere that you can get a basic walkthrough, and that's what we do. Like you can go into our hub, and for those of you who are not members, and if you're not, what the heck is wrong with you? You should be there. So we have a free version, and you can watch a free AI masterclass in there that will give you the basics.
Yeah.
And you need those basics to start, right? So learn the basics. And then if you really love it, then, you can join anything. You can watch YouTubes, you can do whatever. We're actually doing a mastermind starting next week.
Next week.
Next week. So it's a 12-week mastermind, and it's basically every single week we're layering on the AI learning. So by the end of it, you'll know how to do everything up till that week. But if you stay in our hub, if you stay as part of our membership, then you have access to us every single time something comes out. We always talk about it. We always put it out in our coaching and stuff. But it is, I can't stress enough. How many of you watched the Canva reveal last week, right?
Oh my goodness. Was that not? Holy cow. And I think just before you jump into what sort of changed there, it's not just, keeping up with ChatGPT or Gemini. It's the integration that AI has been brought into all the different programs.
Everything.
So that's kind of the world that I'm living in. You live in that world. I live into the world of, well, now what all of these programs that we're using or all of these programs that we've purchased in the past is looking at them, understanding how they're bringing AI into their world. All the different aspects. So I think that's why it's so important to understand how it all works, at least understand the basics, because I can guarantee you a program that you once used for, whatever you used it for probably has AI integrated into it like Canva.
And I think the number one takeaway, anyone listening today, is the number one thing you really need to learn is how to ask good questions, because that is the key to your output, right? And we always talk about it, input out, or output. And so that's the issue. You have to ask good questions. And all of these programs are amazing, but we do have some hacks, right? If you don't know how to ask good questions, you can ask ChatGPT or Gemini to ask you questions. And there's a trick to that, but there's always a way to do it. But for example, like I had just said about the spreadsheet, the sheets, Excel, whatever you want to use, if you ask it what you want, it will produce it, but you need to ask that, which is we call prompts. So for those of you who don't know what a prompt is when you see it on social media, it's just a question. It's how you ask ChatGPT or Gemini or Bard, or wasn't Bard anymore, Copilot, to answer you back. But here's the thing. Canva, which is another one of our motherships. We love Canva. Sorry, all you graphic designers who
It's amazing.
don't like it, but we love it because it's our level. But Canva every year, or maybe twice a year, comes out with their newest, latest, greatest, what they're adding, and there's a lot of AI in it this year. And so you can pretty much do anything you want. So you can ask it to do slides. You can ask it to, now there's these cool pieces where you've got, if you need sales pieces or marketing or HR, and there are all these templates that they're already done for you. So, in the old days when you had to figure out what an HR template looked like and what you would include, you don't have to anymore because it's there. But they also, and Stacy's going to test it this week, so we'll let you know, they're also doing chopping up videos, which is, we've told you guys about some of our favorite tools, and they're on our resources page, right? Yep. But now Canva's getting into the game. And I got to say, for what you pay for Canva for a year, there is no better deal.
I don't know a lot of people who just have the free version. Anybody I sort of talk to, they're like, absolutely, because it's just so inexpensive and because of everything that you get. And Canva's just constantly upgrading. So that's just one example of a program that many people use. They're trying to figure out, how can they bring in AI to make it easier for the end user, which is for the customer who's using that.
What's interesting is they really went after the organizations this year.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we know everybody's using it individually. So how can we grab the whole sales team in the company to use it as a team? And there's all these AI collaborations and everything. So it's really great. But again, you need to understand the basics of AI in order to truly, fully benefit from everything you learn, right? From everything.
You were telling me a story last week about how, was one of you. I feel like I talk to you, and we do the coaching, and we do this. So I just feel like it's whenever I've talked to you, but it was actually during one of our coaching calls that somebody was having a challenge with getting the information out of ChatGPT. They're like, it's just, I'm asking the questions, it's not producing what I want, and then again, switching, like you were able to switch how you were asking that information, and all of a sudden it gave a completely different piece of information that they're like, okay, this is what I want. So I think that's, again, the huge benefit of understanding those prompts, like you had said before. Yeah. And I think that's cool. And I love the fact that I think that's one of the things that I think is a huge advantage. I'm a little impartial, but a huge advantage of coming to and joining our mastermind, coming to the live coaching, because that person, one of our students, would have taken so much more time.
So much.
Right. And they would not have been able to produce the results that they did in such a short amount of time.
And here's the thing, I'm giving a little plug, sorry guys, to our coaching, but it's true, because they ask right there, then and there on our coaching call, and I just tell them to change the prompt when we're sitting there.
Right on the screen, yeah.
I do it. Like, it's not like I'm saying, oh, try to come. No, I say, here, let's write this in, right? Yeah, and then it'll produce it. So if you have access to people that know what they're doing, and we're very well versed in AI, then then you'll get the answers really quickly. Because sometimes you can read an article, but it's not the same as you're inputting. And some people are just naturally better.
Yeah.
It's true. They're just naturally better, like anything, at asking these questions. And so it was interesting. Was it last week? No, it was this week. One of our clients was asking his intern. He had a question about very weird question about payloads in a rental space on a second floor, and were there certain requirements or government bylaws, et cetera. It was very, you don't even know where to look.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know where I'd start with that one.
The intern not only found out all the information with ChatGPT, but actually was able to source the entire building code for the province and ask them to specifically find the exact clause that we're looking for. So out of this, 800-page document, it narrowed it down to this one page where it was. So back in the day,
can you just imagine the amount of time that
probably taken a week or two and many phone calls to, the building departments in the city and law.
We're trying to go through code, like sifting through, like I can't even.
Yeah. So think about that. If you're, their interns are really good, right, at asking the questions. Right. But if you have somebody like that, or you learn how to do it literally in less than an hour, you'd have your answer that might have taken you 2 weeks, and you'd be able to make a faster decision.
Yes.
And be able to move forward quicker on anything. So that's the other thing. We talk a lot about how great it is with social media. And, we're in our mastermind, we talk a lot about specific prompts that you can generate, 200 posts in 10 minutes. If that's the route you want to take, or write video scripts, you name it. There's so many things. But again, it comes down to understanding the basics. So. Exactly. I can't say enough. It's so exciting.
Well, and it's just really interesting how, like, larger corporations, businesses, stuff like that, people who hire interns, we're talking about that younger generation coming through and how they're able to do things differently. So again, what would have taken, you would have hired a summer student and saying, we need to find all of this piece of information, and they'd have to sit through papers and libraries and phone calls and, trying to source all of that stuff. They are now knowing how to, right? They know how to do it. So their knowledge, like, going back to the old adage of sales, right? Like, you're not paying me for my hour, you're paying me for my years of experience. Yep. Now imagine hiring a student who understands AI and understands how to find information in a faster way. The amount of money that businesses are now going to be able to save by sourcing those type of individuals. Right. I think students and stuff like that coming through will need to know this stuff.
And I think you made a really good point. That's, if I was interviewing a summer student or whoever, a co-op student, and my business benefited from pieces like that, it's one of the first questions I would ask. Remember back in the day, it was like, are you familiar with PowerPoint, Excel, Word? Now, they don't even know what that is, because they're all on Google Docs, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you ask them to do Excel, they'll just take it and put it into Google Docs and then export it back out for you, because they don't really.
But again, their prompts, their setup, their time, you no longer have to be that Excel expert, because they can just type it in, create the sheet for you, and then enter in the data that's needed. So the output and the time saver is going to be.
So if you're a student, because we know we have a lot of students watching and listening to us, if you're a student, jump in there. If you haven't, this is what's going to set you apart from anyone else. Because think about it. Think about the example where the intern took an hour. So what's going to happen for the business? The intern's going to say, what do you want me to do next?
Exactly.
Right? And meanwhile, normally the business would have said, well, we thought that was going to take you a week, so let me find another project for you.
Right? So exactly. You're saving time, you're saving money, and you're having somebody there that can move your business forward in such a rapid pace that, in all fairness, you better be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared for these interns and these students to know, because they're coming in. So let's just take another example of, a student just coming in from high school. So, even just taking sort of the business aspect out of it, they're actually using it in their own lives, right?
Mhm.
So I have my youngest who's going into university, and it's been recommended to him to use AI as a way to learn, right?
Yeah.
So record the presentation in these apps and use AI to highlight key points, do the transcription of the lecture so that you can scan it. It'll highlight points. It'll summarize it for you. Put in notes, create flashcards, like the learning that, so their ability to be able to learn information is going to be huge, but they're using it. They're learning how to use it. So their value when they graduate is going to be second to none.
Yeah. Well, and it's the whole education system is going to change. It has no choice.
Yeah.
It has to change because what they're doing isn't working anymore. It's not caught up. And there's an interesting, I think it's the number one TED talk I believe ever watched, and I think his name's Ken Thompson, and it is about education. It was actually done. I think he did it like 17 years ago or something like
Wow.
that. If you guys look it up, you'll find it. And I wish I knew what it was called, but maybe I'll post it later on in our group, in our hub. Anyways, so what he was talking about was how back then, even, and AI didn't even come into play yet, is how the education system was wrong because, we were forcing people, students, to learn, math and English, and saying everything else wasn't important, right? And spend all your time doing this. It's a really fascinating thing because it was talking about how we basically took creativity out of all the kids, which is true, right? Because creativity is still not rewarded unless you go to art school or something, but
Right.
still it wasn't that important. And I think on that same vein of understanding that is the fact that our kids won't be spending that much time writing and doing math with the advent of AI. So what is it that they need to know, right?
Yeah.
What do they
Changing
need to
technology.
learn?
Yeah.
And if it's interesting, even last year or 2 years ago when people were really talking about 4-day work weeks and shortened hours, well, that's all a reality now,
Yeah.
right? That's a reality because we don't need to spend all day doing a spreadsheet anymore. So if that's your task, then you can do it in a couple hours and then you're done. It does not mean that you have to do more tasks because that job required you to finish that task. And
Exactly.
that's it. So if that gives you extra time to do something else, cool, right? So there is an absolute advantage to knowing all that because if you do, I would rather have somebody that works for me 1 day a week that can do what it takes somebody else 7 days because I want
100%.
that information quick. I want it accurate and I want it done because how great is it that you can make a decision in an hour as opposed to a week? That will change your
Absolutely. So we have a 12-week AI accelerator starting next week. It's 12 weeks, and that is going to include all aspects. But again, every week it's going to be something different, but it's a way to keep on top of things. So if you've been looking at and wanting to and waiting to
Yeah.
dip your toe in, or you want a way to stay on top of it without having to do all of your research yourself, that's what we're here for. And the live coaching, as Renee has pointed out, alone is worth it because every week, as part of that, we will be doing live coaching as well. So again, if you're struggling with your prompts or you're wanting to figure out how you're going to use it either in your own life or in your business, then this is for you. So,
and here's the cool thing, guys. I don't know if you guys have ventured to see what we have at Mastermind City. Just go to themastermind.city, check out Mastermind, check out the plus, the little box at the top that says Mastermind City Plus. That's our plus membership. But every course we do is in there. So if you're just interested in this one, you get everything else too. So it's a real huge bonus, and I'm going to on a weekly basis. We're going to take not only just intros and how to do prompts, but we're going to learn everything. So you're going to learn how to write your book, how to write a speech, how to do social media prompts, how to work in documents, you name it, so that you're going to learn it all. And all it's going to really take is basically an hour a week for 12 weeks. Who can't do that? And you will be so far ahead of everyone you know.
Thanks for joining us here at the Mastermind City. You don't have to say goodbye because there are other ways that you can join us.
If you like what you've heard today, then join our professional networking community, and it's absolutely free, where you can be part of our global community to build relationships, grow your business, and access live training, or learn more about how you can get year-round access to not only us, but to all our endless masterminds.
So just go to themastermind.city and we'll see you in the city.